Welcome to Sequeled. This week we're talking the Warriors. This is probably one of my favorite movies.
This is my most anticipated episode, I'd say.
Oh, of the show?
As a fan.
Oh, you should stop. You should curb that enthusiasm because this shit's going downhill from here.
That's a bummer, but I agree. It's one of my favorite films, though.
Yeah, no, it's one of my favorites. Not a film that I'm want a sequel to, but I wouldn't mind it. I know the Russo brothers are currently trying to
reboot it, I think.
Reboot this, or just it seemed like it was telling the movie as a miniseries for Hulu.
Right.
But I'm going to be honest, I don't trust anything coming out of Hulu these days. I know a lot of people are talking about The Handmaid's Tale, and I'm just like, nah. It's no HBO Now for me. It's no HBO Go. I'm into Netflix. I can't get invested in Hulu.
I feel like it's going to be like a Homeland where amazing first and second season, but then Hulu just kind of drops the ball yo, we can't afford how good this is and stuff, and just drops it. Yeah.
It's just all right, let's kill off some of the characters or something. They better not kill off Koshi. That's all I have to say. Mm-hmm. But anyways, I'll just get right into it. Where I see the sequel happening, in an alternate reality, I see the sequel happening. Basically. Okay. The movie's not going to be an alternate reality, but the fact the movie needs to happen, it needed to have been made right after the first movie, I feel like.
That's true.
And I feel like it needs to take place right after the first movie. So the first movie ends with them all on the beach, the sun setting and shit. And I remember there's a cool tune for the soundtrack. And then it's just one of those classic freeze frame endings, I feel like.
Oh, it has one of those?
Yeah. I don't know. I just feel like it would have, or a fade out, something like that. Mm-hmm. But anyways, I feel like the movie needs to take the Warriors 2 needs to start right after that. Mm-hmm. It needs to be basically that now. Cyrus was trying to unify the city, and then
kind of did in a way. Yeah.
In a way, he unified it. His death unified it.
Yeah.
Sorry, I got my notes here always. But Luthor is just the first movie is literally just about Luthor, the guy who leads the Rogues, who's the alcoholic psychopath,
right? Yeah.
Who kills Cyrus, and the only reason his motivation for killing Cyrus is because he likes to do things like that.
Yeah.
I literally think that was literally his oh yeah, I like to do things like that. Just kill people.
I remember,
for fun.
They ask at the end of the movie, "Why'd you do it?" And then he's just like, "I like to do things like that."
It's so bad. Why? He's a psychopath, and his gang is just behind him. All other gangs are just down to fuck up the Warriors because they think that peace was over because of it.
Right.
This movie is just a huge metaphor for world peace, kind of. But
in a sick way.
Sick way. But anyways, I want now the Warriors to be propped up and now to be taking Cyrus's place, and now they are the law essentially because as you know, the gangs outnumber the cops 5-1.
Right, that was a good.
That was the whole thing, and
nice memory.
Yeah, and now I think that the Warriors are the leaders of the city. They're basically the councilmen, or they're the authority. So where I kind of want to take it from there is that the cops are infiltrating, because we already saw that there's this world of undercover cops.
Right, yeah.
The undercover cops are going to be infiltrating the gangs, trying to defeat them from the inside out. And they're just basically the beginning, it's going to start with them infiltrating, and then it's going to be one day they just round everyone up and shit, and put everyone in a stadium, lock them up, and are going to they just put them there in as a holding cell in one of the huge stadiums in New York, and then just leave them there, and we'll deal with them. We'll start booking them to different places in the U.S. to kind of ruin the gang situation.
I'm fascinated.
So there won't be any more
far.
gangs. Yeah. But that's where it comes in. They didn't round up all of the Warriors. We still have a group of Warriors left, and they're gonna have to basically get everyone out and save the day essentially. That's kind of where I'm going. But I want Koshi to be the leader because he was my favorite warrior.
Which one was Koshi again?
He's the one that has that. I think it's a leopard kind of. He has a fro, but he has a head.
Oh, okay, yeah.
Thing. He was the Indian-inspired black warrior. He was the dopest one.
Yeah, he was the dopest one. Yeah.
If you played the Warriors game on PS2, it was Koshi or get the fuck out.
Mm-hmm. Right.
You use Koshi, you just fuck everyone up. Yeah. That game is super underrated, by the way.
Mm-hmm. Back in PlayStation 2 days, right?
Yeah, back in PS2. The graphics aren't great, but that game was super fun. Mm-hmm. It was basically one of those Rivertown Rumble type like that old NES game where it's just gangs fighting.
Yeah.
It's like one of those, or like Streets of Rage.
Yeah, and a lot of people are watching in the background. I know.
There's always people watching in the background, cheering on your burning trash cans and shit.
Yeah.
That's like a classic thing.
Overall, though, that was a really cool concept. Like, I was like all fascinated. I was like, "Oh yeah, tell me more, tell me more." I was getting really invested.
And then I just pulled out.
Stopped it. And I was like, "No, keep going."
And I just pulled out.
But you could throw in some cool like political like play in there as well, like on just like how current like politics are, and just like kind of throw like some.
I think you could, at least with like the fact that like Trump's trying to build a wall. It could be this metaphor for like rounding up people. Like he's rounding up the Dreamers, and like the warriors of the Dreamers. I'm sure there's a gang called the Dreamers in this movie. But anyways, like they're being rounded up, being sent away to places that they don't even know. Like they're just going to be randomly sent to different spots in the U.S. where they can't cause trouble because they won't know anyone.
Right.
But I mean, come on, dude. They're gang members. They'll figure shit out.
So I got a couple questions for you, though. One thing that I loved so much about the Warriors was, of course, the soundtrack and the DJ. So I'm curious where you'd go with that. And another thing is also the gangs. Thought of any like crazy gang concepts? I've always wanted to just see like fuckers who just mess with nunchucks and stuff.
The otakus, they're like just huge anime nerds.
Right, love it. Yeah,
but they're the worst gang, hands down. They're like very uncoordinated.
I'd love to see a bunch of weebs with like Naruto like headbands and stuff.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying. Yeah. I saw a guy. Did I show you that picture? I saw a guy like wearing a Naruto headband like in public.
God, yeah, was it Tentacion?
It looked like him actually.
He's obsessed with Naruto.
He
right?
likes Naruto too. That's hilarious. There's so many XXX Tentacion AMVs, Naruto AMVs.
Oh my god. Yeah.
But so I haven't really thought of too many ideas of gangs, but I feel like you could obviously go with other sports because of the baseball Furies, the soccers,
the shin pads or something. Yeah.
The shin pads, the shin kickers. Yeah, stuff like I guess that, or like the Village People. But as like a
like the band, or like people with pitchforks or something.
Both. The Amish.
Yeah, the Amish. Love that.
And then what was your first question you asked?
The DJ, I guess. Like, I guess nowadays, is it gonna? So if it's gonna take place,
like a DJ. Oh well, if it's gonna take place after the first movie, I'd want it to be very similar. It'd, like go with the same kind of style. I wouldn't want it like. I mean, if it was like today, it would be like EDM and like some DJ like that, and I just don't think that would work very well.
It doesn't necessarily have to be, but I guess you'd have to do satellite radio instead or something.
Serious? It's like Howard Stern is the DJ. That would be kind of cool if it was like something like that.
Yeah, close up on his mouth, just like
blah, blah, blah. It reminds me of Wolfman Jack from what's the movie that I'm thinking? American Graffiti.
Oh, right on, yeah.
We're just like, oh god.
Yeah.
So anyways, I'm going to challenge you for next week. This week, I did the Warriors as you challenged me. I'm actually not challenging you, but I'm taking a suggestion from our comments. Guys, if you want us to give a sequel to some movie, just leave a comment down below in any of our videos. We'll get to it when we get a chance. We might not always be the quickest, but we'll do our best. So this week, we're taking a comment from the viewers, and we're going to do Chasing Amy.
Yeah. The long-awaited sequel I've always wanted to see. Fuck Mallrats 2. Fuck Clerks 3. Fuck Jay and Silent Bob 2. Chasing Amy 2 is what I want to see.
Seriously, though? Out of all of them, or are you joking? I can't tell.
No, I was joking, yeah. No, but
I would say this is probably my favorite, though, out of all those movies.
No, by far, it's my favorite, yeah. I don't mean that in a mean way. I love Kevin Smith, but Chasing Amy is his best film by far, though. Yeah. Yeah,
so I'm interested to see where you go with this. I think it's a tough one. I think you might run into some tropes, but I'm hoping that like this could be an interesting look at a film that I think is probably his most beloved movie.
Yeah, I'd say so, yeah.
So I'm looking forward to where you go with that.
With that, we'll see you guys next week with Chasing Amy 2.